Another flight attendant appeared, drawn by the quiet tension in the aisle. His tone was softer, more attentive. "Is everything all right here?" he asked. Salah didn't look away from the first stewardess. "Is it only my wife being asked to move?" he repeated. The new attendant paused. There was a flicker of confusion, or maybe realization. "I'll check with the captain," he said before stepping away behind the curtain. The original stewardess stayed rooted in place, clipboard still in hand, arms crossed now. She didn't speak, didn't look at them, just stood there like the silence would explain everything. Minutes ticked by. A low murmur moved through the cabin, barely louder than the hum of the engines. Then the second attendant returned. His voice was even, almost apologetic. "Captain says no changes are needed. Everyone can stay where they are." No apology followed, no clarification. The stewardess gave a tight nod, turned on her heel, and walked away as if none of it had happened. Salah didn't say a word. He didn't look after her. He didn't smile. He simply reached for his wife's hand, laced his fingers with hers, and they both turned back toward the window, the sky stretching quiet and wide beyond the glass. The man 2 rows back uploaded the video before the seatbelt sign had even gone off. The clip was short, a little shaky, but clear enough. Salah sitting calmly, his wife composed, unmoving. The stewardess standing over them, her posture stiff, her tone clipped, then walking away without a word when the second attendant shut it all down. No shouting, no drama, just stillness, just quiet defiance. Within minutes, the video was everywhere. Tweets with captions like "Class act from Salah" and "This is how you protect someone without making noise" started racking up views. Instagram reposts followed. TikTok edits with soft music layered behind their silent resistance. By the time the plane touched down, Salah's name was trending globally, and he hadn't said a thing. No comment, no hashtag, no reaction. Just a moment. Millions couldn't stop watching, replaying, and sharing. The conversation spread fast, but this time it didn't burn out in outrage. It settled in reflection. In classrooms, teachers used the clip to spark quiet discussions about respect, dignity, and what it means to stand up for someone without raising your voice. In homes across cities and small towns, mothers who wore hijabs posted heartfelt messages. "For once," one wrote, "someone didn't just notice the disrespect, he addressed it calmly, without making us a spectacle." A father shared a photo of the moment on Facebook with a caption that cut through the noise. "Thank you, Salah, for protecting your wife without yelling. That's the kind of strength I want my sons to understand." And back in Liverpool, someone left a handwritten note tucked into the gates at Anfield. Nothing dramatic, just a simple line. "Thanks for standing your ground." And hers. The world didn't stop, but something inside it had clearly shifted. Back in their hotel room, the city lights of Doha blinked gently through the window. Salah's phone buzzed every few minutes. Messages from journalists, teammates, strangers, even brands trying to ride the wave. But he ignored them. Not out of pride, just peace. He didn't feel like adding to the noise. Not yet. Later that night, as he unpacked, he found a folded note tucked into a side pocket of his bag. His wife's handwriting, neat and steady. "Next time they ask me to move, I'll say, ask my husband." He smiled, shaking his head. "That might get us banned." "Then we drive," she said without missing a beat. "And if we're crossing oceans, you swim." He laughed, soft and warm. The kind of laugh you only share with someone who's seen every side of you. They didn't need to post anything, didn't need to explain. The world outside could scroll, share, debate all it wanted. Inside that room, there were no speeches, no statements, just 2 people sitting quietly, side by side. A hand held, a message sent, and nothing more to prove. Mohamed Salah is known for scoring goals, not making headlines off the pitch. But on a recent flight, it wasn't his footwork that stunned people. It was what he did when no cameras were rolling, no crowds were cheering. There were no chants, no trophies, just a man, his wife, and a moment that exposed more about dignity than any match ever could. It was meant to be a quiet escape, the kind where no one stares, no one whispers, and no one notices you at all. Mohamed Salah and his wife moved through London's airport like any other couple. No security detail, no flashy outfits, no entourage. He wore a hoodie and jeans, cap pulled low. She walked beside him, hand in his. Her cream-colored hijab wrapped neatly, her posture relaxed and modest. Together they looked like 2 people trying to enjoy a normal moment in a life that rarely allows it. Their flight to Doha was long haul, first class, not for show, but for comfort. They'd booked it quietly, with no press, no fuss. As they boarded early, they nodded politely at the crew, then made their way to seats 2A and 2B. The cabin smelled faintly of lemon-scented sanitizer and coffee. Everything was calm. She settled in by the window, her fingers resting gently in her lap. Salah tucked a worn paperback into the seat pocket, one he'd been trying to finish for weeks. She smiled slightly at the view, clouds gathering over the runway, sunlight trying to break through. A steward brought sparkling water with lemon slices, which Salah accepted with a soft, "thank you." His wife adjusted her scarf, glancing around quietly, taking in the space. There was no need for conversation. They had that kind of bond, the kind where silence didn't feel empty. The world outside was moving fast, but inside that plane, it was just the two of them, peaceful, still, and unaware that something small was already shifting around them. A flight attendant walked down the aisle, not the one who had greeted them earlier with a practiced smile. This one carried herself differently. Her posture was rigid, her steps brisk, and when her eyes passed over Salah's wife, they lingered. Just a second too long. Not long enough to say something was wrong, but long enough to feel it. No expression, no greeting, just a glance that didn't match the quiet calm of the cabin. Salah didn't notice at first. He was focused on his book, but his wife did. She felt it, that small flicker of something unspoken but heavy. She shifted slightly in her seat, adjusting her scarf, brushing it instinctively across her shoulder as if to shake off the feeling. A few minutes after takeoff, the same stewardess returned, clipboard in hand, smile tight, eyes unreadable. She leaned in slightly, voice low but firm. "Sir, there's been a small adjustment," she said. "We'll need to reassign your wife's seat. Aircraft balance protocols." Salah looked up, eyebrows pinched. "Just her?" "Yes." The stewardess nodded. "Nothing personal, just a procedure." His wife turned slightly, confused but quiet. She hadn't spoken a word, hadn't moved, hadn't done anything to draw attention. And yet, here they were, with a request that felt strangely specific. The air between them didn't change loudly. It changed quietly and unmistakably. Salah didn't raise his voice. He didn't flinch. He simply looked up at the stewardess, steady and calm. "Are other passengers being moved?" he asked, voice low but clear. The stewardess hesitated. "I'm not at liberty to discuss other seating arrangements." He studied her for a moment. "That's not a yes," he said quietly, but there was a weight to the words. Not aggressive, not emotional, just precise. Beside him, his wife gently touched his arm. "It's fine," she whispered. "I'll move." She didn't want trouble. She didn't want to be the center of anything. She just wanted peace. But Salah didn't move. His eyes stayed on the stewardess. "No," he said. "We booked these seats together." The silence in the cabin started to shift. A passenger across the aisle leaned slightly, sensing tension. A man 2 rows back slid his phone out discreetly and hit record. Another tapped their seatmate and nodded toward the scene unfolding. No one said it out loud, but the energy had changed. The request didn't feel routine anymore. It felt deliberate. And more than just Salah and his wife could see it.